All right, I think we're ready to get started. We have to officially, unofficially do this, so I'll call this work session of 5 o'clock of March 13, 2018 to order. And I know you guys have a presentation, and we're going to get to that in a minute, and I know you have a team that you're going to be doing that with. But for you guys' understanding and the parents that are here, I want to introduce our team, because we kind of have the nuts and bolts of our command center team that are here as well. And I think that kind of shows how important it is that, you know, the project that you guys are looking at, we have a lot of people that represent a lot of areas of what this particular thing might involve. So to my far right, your left, is our fire chief, Chuck Schallenberger, our road superintendent, Joe Iacino, the captain of our ship, our administrator, Lisa Campbell. I have fellow trustee Alino here. I'm John Sabo. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees this year. I have Scott Haas, fellow trustee. I have Rob Steinberg, our parks superintendent or director. I have Tom Ferrara, our zoning inspector, and I have Tom Wolf, our fiscal officer. Now, having started all that, we're ever so informally going to get up now so we can pull this screen down. So while we're doing all that, I think it's going, let me make a couple other introductions so that if we have to do any interacting, our team will know who we're dealing with. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but I think we have two teachers slash, what else would you call that position?
Teachers is good. That's
okay, good. And that would be, it's Scott Loffman, is that how you pronounce that?
Right.
And Michelle Hung. Michelle, raise your hand. Okay. So I think we're going to get up, we're going to pull the screen down, and I think we're going to start out with Maya Peterson, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so if you'll just give us a couple seconds if we can move. Thank you all for being here, by the way. Chuck, you need to adjust the lights. You all right?
Sure. Good evening, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to let us meet with you today. My name is Maya Peterson. I'm Evelyn Parr.
My name is Sharon Hahn.
I'm Luke Senefton.
We are 7th grade STEM students from Oakwood Middle School. The STEM program focuses on science, technology, engineering, and math. And today, we'd like to share with you a PBL, or project-based learning, project that we've been working on and would like to kick off in the near future. We call it Connecting Campuses, Connecting Communities.
Our vision is to connect our high school, middle school, and Worslow Elementary School through one connected trail. This trail will provide safe travel from campus to campus, and we'll make a more unified community by having a trail that not only the student body can use, but everybody can.
We are well aware of the fact that this is a very large project, and today we're just here to present Phase 3 of the many phases that could follow in the years to come with this project. We are also prepared for the challenges, struggles, and even failures that could follow in the years to come with this project.
We made a drone video to show where the sidewalk slash path would like to be placed. We'll be starting along,
You want to tell them where they're at?
yeah, we're going to be starting by Glen Oak High School and the firehouse. And then on the right side of the screen would be where the sidewalk's going to be placed. That is going to be 0.72 miles. It's going to go all the way from here to Middle Branch Road, and that is going to be out of concrete. From this point on, all the way to Oakwood Front here is 0.33 miles. We'll be following the old cross-country trail. Now, from here on, all the way to the back corner is 0.34 miles, and I'll show you where that ends.
That was a drone, not me running.
This is the corner up ahead that we'll be ending at, and then we will be going all the way to the front of Whistler Hill. I'll show you where that is, and that is 0.41 miles from here to there. From the bottom of the hill, all around the baseball fields by Middle Branch Road, and then back to the playground, that is 0.61 miles. At the corner of Schneider and Middle Branch, this is where the sidewalk would end. All in all, it's a total of 1.71 miles of concrete and crushed limestone.
Seems like it's far, but it's 1.7 miles. Seems like it was far.
As of right now, there's no safe way to travel from campus to campus. As you can see here, this forces students to either walk on the road or on the grass on the side. This creates distractions for drivers and puts our students and others in the community trying to travel from campus to campus in danger. Our new trail would prevent distractions from drivers, all while keeping the people and students in our community safe.
Starter bus stop. We have one bus stop located on the corner of Firestone and Schneider. Kids and community members are constantly waiting at this point to go to extracurricular activities or to go home. Now, for the people standing there, there's no safe place to wait. So putting in a sidewalk there will give the community members and students a safe place to wait.
The Koopas Courts. These Koopas Courts will provide safe travel for students going to and from the Koopas Courts. These trails will also likely increase the amount of students going to and from the Koopas Courts, therefore increasing the amount of physical education that is instilled in our next generation.
So as well as the benefits for the community, there are also multiple benefits for students in our district, such as the study of plants and horticulture would be increased as students have the opportunity to go outside and interact with plants. Also, students will be able to calculate the linear dimensions of the path and learn the cost analysis and what it took to make this path happen. The trail will also allow for an alternate place for gym classes to go and get outside and just have a different time than being inside of the gym constantly for every class. And lastly, the trail will provide aesthetic beauty opportunities for photographers and artists as they can get inspiration from the path within their classes.
Community partnerships. This is who we'd like to be teaming up with along our journey. Stark Parks, the Township Trustees, the Road Department, Plain Township Parks and Recreation, the Fire Department, local engineers, Arts and Stark, and any others that would like to join us.
The community benefits. Stark County will be provided with another running/walking trail open to the entire community. Drivers from the community will have less distractions from students moving along Schneider. This trail will also allow easier access for other trails and parks that are in our community. And finally, the sidewalk will provide easy access to the Koopas Courts and the Starter bus stop.
The benefits for Stark County include the trail will give a healthy experience for all those in the community who choose to utilize it, and the trail provides an alternate walking, running, and biking path for all in the community. The walking path will also increase family opportunities to go outside and spend time with each other while being physically active and promote activity. Lastly, it makes the area surrounding houses a lot more appealing to those who are in search of a home.
Connecting campuses, connecting communities. This trail system will allow us to make a connection that has been missing since the high school was built. We will have the ability to travel from school to school. Teachers, students, athletes, and community members alike will have a safe and appealing way to make connections.
So what we have done so far is we've presented in front of a few members from the Plain local administration, including the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and a number of administrators. We have also presented to the community partners of Plain Local, which includes the Plain Township Fire Department, Stark County, the YMCA, Kent Stark, and Malone.
The plan moving forward. We need help getting into contact with Stark County engineers. Also, we need someone who knows the expertise and what to do on from this point.
In conclusion, we'll create a more unified and connected community and campuses. The design process of the trail create many different opportunities for problem-based learning, especially within our school systems. And the sidewalk will create a safe way for students and others in the community to travel from campus to campus. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. And do you have any questions?
One, I'd like to commend you guys. Honestly, your presentation skills are really impressive. Not to play on age, I'm 40, but for 7th graders, I mean, the attention. You weren't staring at the screen, which I can tell you there are folks my age and older that read that to you. So definitely had strong preparation. But specific to the content, I'd be interested. What type of feedback have you gotten from, say, the school superintendent and the assistant superintendent and some of those other entities? Any initial thoughts and feedback they've given you, or what's?
So far, we haven't heard much, except for the fact that they have promoted us presenting onto more places like this, rather than just the small group we've presented in front of at first. So as far as we're concerned, we think it's going pretty well.
So just to expound on that, we met with the superintendent, assistant superintendent. That was our first phase 1 to get approval to go on, and that's when we met with the Plain Township community members. That you guys go there once a month, but it was a snow day. It was really bad, so people didn't show up. So we had the fire department was there, Malone, and that other group that they listed. And at that point, there was a lot of interest. Stark Parks reached out to us, gave us a business card, and said as soon as we get things moving, then we give them a call, and they want to touch base with these guys again as the project goes on. So that's where we're at. Superintendent has said we're interested, but I think that they're trying to get all of the community members, in different elements involved.
I don't really have a question, more of a comment. First of all, I don't think they could have picked better ambassadors, maybe, to get other groups to come together with this presentation. It was very well put together. It was short because a lot of people who have a lot of meetings and a lot of things to do, you put a lot of information in this. And if I was a parent, and I got to believe the ones that are sitting behind me are all sitting there with smiles on their faces, and I didn't even turn around. So I think they're pretty proud of what you guys have put together, and that's why we wanted to hear this and see this as well. This project actually is not the first time this project has been talked about, although you guys have added to some things that certainly makes it more attractive. Now, I wasn't here. I've only been here for 2.5 years, so I wasn't here when that initial presentation was made, and I'm guessing it was made by adults who didn't do near as well as you guys have done.
For sure.
So actually, our administrator does have a little bit of information that maybe she wants to share, and we're certainly still paying attention to this project.
So first off, your whole team was amazing. Very impressive presentation, the information, the way you presented it, the way you dressed this evening, start to finish, top notch. Second, if you want this project to continue, you have a partnership to, help us move along collaboratively. I know myself, Joe Icino, the highway superintendent, he's got the contacts to the Stark County engineers, but there is also a grant that is available through Safe Routes to School, it's called. I don't know if you had found that in any of your, and the first thing that they recommend is a travel plan, and that's where you'd have the school's involvement, and I have the information about that, and a sample travel plan from the city of Canal Fulton, who did a similar project that could help get things started. And I am always open and available to help with, once this travel plan's done, and the school has to take a big part of that, we're here to help with, engineering, designing, We had already kind of started down that path, but that's what we do. So we'd love to see this continue. So here's this information, you know,
Yes, thank you.
for you all, yeah.
We did talk to somebody at ODOT, Christine Serma was her name. She kind of talked to us and led us in the direction of the safe routes to school, but we didn't like fully get into it because we weren't in the phase that we wanted to be at the moment.
That would be like the next phase.
Yep.
Yes. And then Mr. Haas has already talked to Kirk Schuring, who is open to probably seeing the presentation and sitting down, and maybe there's some funding he can help us
In
with.
short, there's a budget down in Columbus, they've got a budget cycle, and I can tell you this year, there was $6.25 million that came back into Stark County towards a number of projects specific to the communities, i.e. the townships, maybe some villages. I think the smallest, I'm not gonna call it a grant because it just comes straight out of the state budget, was $250,000, $250,000. There was a lot that was $500,000 to $750,000 for some projects. We're actually talking with them, you know, about the next budget cycle. So unfortunately for this year, you know, it's a little too late. But again, there's a lot of groundwork in something like this. So that's definitely something, you know, we can maybe get a copy of the presentation so I can even share it initially with Kirk in passing, say, hey, we've had this group of students that come and present on this, it's been a prior point of conversation.
And if you could see the students present,
Yeah,
that
honestly,
would be hugely
I'm just looking,
impactful.
maybe I could give him a couple snippets so I don't steal your glory, because honestly, the impact really does come from you guys who would benefit the most from it. Again, from a township perspective, these grants and these different funding sources play an absolute huge element in being able to do something like this, because this, Mr. Sabo was indicating, Trustee Lino and I was actually part of the prior board that took a look at that, where was a sidewalk from Market to Middle Branch, all concrete, and I'm talking a straight sidewalk, it was $1 million. Now, understand, I won't bore you too much, but there's a lot of other infrastructure updating that has to be done with curb and gutter along the roads, widening the roads, whereas when we even took a look with Stark Parks, that same exact run with crushed limestone, ADA handicap accessible, I think it was ballparked at about $600,000. So I say that just to put a real relevant number. I mean, there's $400,000 difference there, it's huge. But when we're talking function, the whole thing's would end up being crushed limestone. You know, if you get that, you know, combination of that grant, if we're able to make some calls, you know, to the folks in Columbus, and, you know, even though you're not a voting age yet, don't hesitate to call them.
And your parents.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. So, again, I personally commend you for, you know, what you've done here, because from a safety of well-being, I know when I cut across during the week, I mean, I think there's almost any day of the week, any time of the day, there's a younger gentleman that's always walking, and even when you're cautious, having been a hit and run victim at the age of 16, I can speak exactly to, you know, I'm ultra sensitive to it, but, you know, we can absolutely.
That's something we've really recognized, the safety issue. I see tons of kids go that exact route crossing because there is a neighborhood right there. And in terms of safety issue standpoint, it's something that, especially, again, we have the start of a stop there and the Rufus Courts over by the high school and the neighborhood, all that combined causes a lot of travel from students, especially because we have Oakwood there in high school. And I feel like having this trail, making it super safe for students, because we have 7th graders traveling from Oakwood to the high school, be it because they have basketball games, sports, preschool, or they have brothers and sisters at the high school. That travel, I don't know, it makes me a little bit nervous to see that many kids crossing the street, and not to mention the fact that the road is relatively busy. So again, from a standpoint of safety, I think this is something that's really important, especially for Oakwood and the high school.
And when you're ready to move to that second phase, which, you know, is even a sit down with myself and Joe Icino, you know, we do have contacts to, you know, people that do excavating, that I'm sure would really work with us to the parts that are off-road. And there's another, the CDBG grant, there's another grant that I can make some initial phone calls. But when you're ready for that next step, which doesn't have to be filling that out yet, just getting together and, you know, brainstorming and assigning tasks, we're here for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I did do a little bit of homework there after the last meeting. I checked the railroad there by the movie theater, and that doesn't look like it would be real costly. They basically put a kind of a domino effect of fences, so you have to like slow down to get over the track. So I guess it is feasible to get around or through the tracks, I guess, walking if they have those safeguards in place. So, and I think Stark Parks might be the connection there, because obviously they had to make a certain width fence or whatever they had to do to make it pass on the way to Stark State there.
That is something we've definitely recognized, the railroads intersecting with where we would have our path, and something we've recognized as maybe a struggle, but working with the engineers, I think.
And actually, it would all be through Plain Township, it'd be through the road department. And we'd have fire and parks and all of our department heads involved, but it's all Plain Township path and roadway, so you wouldn't even have to go to the engineers.
I just want to say that how impressed, you know, first of all, students fighting for students, I love it. And I would never let go of this dream. You did an amazing presentation. Hold on to this. Keep fighting for this. I don't know, you probably should even give this presentation not just to us, but it needs to get out. Others need to see this because it's very impressive what they've done.
When you met with the superintendent and the assistant, did they mention anything about even the entire school board? Because, I mean, that
School board meeting would be great.
that would honestly help make.
Yeah, because you'd be
In fact, because at the end of the day, I mean, you're trying to pull everybody together, you know, same message, same understanding,
Yeah.
and then there's buy-in. And I'll tell you, I mean, one of the realities at the end of the day, again, is going to be the funding, and that was, you know, we've got to have the school board's buy-in and support of it just as much.
And the more partners there are, like
We'll
us, the
actually
school
score better
board,
on
Stark
that.
Parks, you know, colleges, will have a much better chance of getting any grant.
The more groups and agencies that you have buying into this, the easier it's going to be to get everybody to collaborate.
So I was saying, you to hold on to this presentation,
Yeah.
this needs to continue, and hopefully it's going to keep getting to the right people where this works, because I see your dream and your goal, and it's outstanding. Matter of fact, when I was at Oakwood, which was my high school at the time, we had to, at one time, wrestle at Worcester, so we had to make that walk.
That was
So
back in 1995.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, road
But I understand
Easy
it
road
for
horses.
And then one year they put out.
shoes that
You know that?
For the record now, I don't believe that at all.
It was a one-lane road.
That's a true story. For 1 year, they had those wrestling mats at worst, and we had to walk from the school to there. So I understand a little bit, that little bit of a walk in between, dangerous on the road, so, well,
And no,
you
seriously,
guys are mean to me.
when I was 16, I was a hit and run victim. I got hit from behind on a bike on a busy
There you
road.
go.
The folks left, I never did find out who hit me, fractured my shoulder blade. I mean, I was chewed up with asphalt one side of my body, so.
So you
You're
really
not-
understand too?
Oh, yeah, I just got the article somewhere still, because I insisted that if I ever found the individual still, there
You have a nice talk with them.
headlines for me, but.
Well, President Baseball moves. This
Yeah.
is to me, okay?
Yep.
From a
Any other
personal
questions?
standpoint, Sorry.
No, you're okay, you're fine.
From a personal standpoint, at some point in my 4th grade year over at Whistler, I used to go to Whistler, we went and saw a play at Oakwood, and all of the 4th grade class had to walk down the Whistler Hill, and it was a little bit muddy that day too, and that, from a personal standpoint, I think it presents a bigger issue, especially having that young of kids having to walk down a hill like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what we can do too, if you're all okay with it and your teachers are okay, is we can link this presentation, because it's videoed, on our Facebook, our Twitter, our home website. That's up to you all, and let us know if you'd like us to do that. And
Yeah, that's right, this week is being recorded.
Yeah.
And there you go, so
Yeah.
this is live
that'd be great.
on our website. also.
Any other questions or comments from our staff? Parents, you all should be proud. Students, you obviously.
We haven't been evaluated yet.
Don't forget about that.